Alright, I'm re-recording some of this because I'm an idiot and I started filming it in portrait mode. Anyways, I'm putting on a cat spin-on style fuel filter, getting rid of the factory housing and the cartridge style. I was going to take all this stuff off and get it out of my way to make it easy, and then after further inspection, looks like I can probably get to everything without doing that, hopefully. And it's about to storm, or it's supposed to, in a few minutes, so I'm gonna try to slam through this. Normally it never goes smooth when that's the case, but first thing I did was I took off this fuel line right here. That's a 17 mil, just threw a socket on there, and then that gives me access to this 17 mil. And this line, probably could take it off, but I mean, it all spins, so 17 mil wrench on there, get that loose. That goes to the bottom of the housing, can kind of leave all that connected, hopefully. And I think the next thing will be getting underneath the truck to get the quick disconnects off the housing, I believe the back side and the bottom. And then we have a sensor right there that needs unplugged, and then that sensor will get taken out once the assembly is removed. That's what I can gather from here. We'll see if anything changes. All right, so far what I've got going on here is got that fuel line right there. I spent more time getting that off than anything, just getting my fingers on it. It's a quick disconnect. That will get reused, so it's just tucked away up there right now. But yeah, that's there's a plug right there you need to disconnect. As you can see, I think that's probably like, I don't know if that's a fuel pressure or like water and fuel sensor, not sure. Anyways, there is a, right below the drip there, you can see there's a 10 mil bolt that I have removed already. I just used a 1/4 inch drive and an extension to get that. Got it from up here. The only thing I've done from the bottom is pull that line, which I don't think you need to do it from down there. I was just having a hard time getting my fingers on it. And then the line off the CP3 right there, that goes to the bottom. So I'm not even gonna bother taking that off, since it can just stay on that assembly. And then there's 2 more 10 mils, come on. All right, there's 2 more 10 mils, let's focus. Jeez. Yeah, anyways, they are right. Oh, there's one. The other one I've already pulled out. And then that whole housing comes off. All right, as you can see here, there's my 1/4 inch with the 10 mil. You can see the one bolt's already removed. And easy enough. Honestly, so far everything I could do from up top. I just was down there trying to get that other quick disconnect done, but it all could be done from the top so far. All right, so I did this as lazy as possible, I think. This goes into the CP3. I didn't even disconnect that. I just unscrewed that. As you can see, it just spins in the fitting. I disconnected this line because that goes to the chassis side. And then you just got your 3 10 mils right here. And this thing comes out. I pulled it out the top. It was kind of a tight fit since I have this aftermarket intake horn on there. All right, this is what comes in the black market kit. You got your filter housing here, and then you've got a couple new lines and your fittings here. Looks like 2 bolts to mount this to the engine block. I think this long line might need trimmed. That's going to go to the CP3 and then to one of these 90-degree push locks. Anyways, seems pretty nice. I don't remember how much it was. I've had it for quite a while now. Finally getting a chance to put it on. All right. Next thing is to get the banjos off the sides of the housing bracket. It's the return rail. So you have one coming off the rail right here. I just took that off. So it'll be easier to take that off than the one that's on the housing. And then I'll just reinstall it with the new housing. And then the other one is on the back side. They're both 17 mil. And I got them both from up top. So they're not that hard to get to. It's back. It's down over there. 17 mil banjos. Don't lose your crush washers. Oh, that thing's sick. Saw that thing the other day. Wonder if he was honking at me. That'd be sick. Anyways, here's the bracket. This is your fuel rail return. There's a banjo right here and there. Get them from the top. 17 mil wrench. I used kind of like a mid-size one. Other than that, this 10 mil was a little tricky to get to. There's a wire harness that kind of runs along in that rail right there, and it's pretty stiff. So you really got to like yank that thing up and out of the way to get to that 10 mil right there. But other than that, it's all pretty simple. I mean, literally done everything from up top without even taking off all this junk that I have in the way. So same 10 mil quarter inch that I used to get the 10 mils right here out. Talking about those storms, it's getting crazy up north. Pitch black. It's kind of wicked. Nothing about tornadoes though. So that's cool. That's cool. And there's the rain. Not good. Holy. All right, so this here was the bracket that held the factory fuel filter housing. And then this is your return fuel rail with the banjo on both sides. Their kit's designed to just leave this all in, but it's a huge bulky bracket, so I removed it and then lopped off the excess, and then their filter housing bolts to part of the block, not this. And anyways, I just wanted to clean things up down there, so I removed this. It's a little extra work. It's just two banjos really, and then the 10 mils there, and then there's another 10 mil down lower on the leftover part of the bracket that's no longer there. But a couple extra minutes, clean things up, cut it off with a bandsaw. All right, so it's been storming off and on all day, so I didn't get really a chance to film the install, but there's some existing holes right there in the block there where the intake manifold bolts down to. I thought it was supposed to bolt to the existing bracket that includes the return fuel rail. Anyways, I did a couple extra steps, modified that bracket, lopped off all the extra stuff, so there's a lot more free space down there. That was kind of a pain getting those banjos back on, but it's not necessary, so you don't have to do that. But other than that, pretty straightforward. You got your line there to the CP3 that goes right there, and then you have your 90 down to an existing quick disconnect. Super straightforward. And then of course your sensor right there. Pretty easy to service the fuel filter now, which is cool. And you know, it has a lower micron filtration, so save your CP3 and injectors a little bit more. Other than that, it's just way more serviceable. Keep one of those on deck, swap it out in just a few minutes if you're on the road and have some issues.